Candida Mente, podcast attorno al project management realizzato dal branch Lombardia del Project Management Institute, Northern Italy Chapter.
Dear all, welcome to this podcast and welcome back for those that are already following us on the podcast issued by the branch Lombardy of the PMI Northern Italy chapter. My name is Matteo Fioravanti and I am a volunteer of the branch Lombardy. This podcast is dedicated to design thinking. Design thinking is spreading amongst the organization and is helping achieving business results. Today, we are meeting Aneta Wereszczak. She is a design thinking coach, agile practitioner, and is an active volunteer of the PMI Poland chapter. We are pleased to meet her, and I kindly ask her to provide us with a brief introduction of herself and her experience.
Hello, Matteo. Hello, all. Thank you, Matteo, for having me in this podcast. So few words about myself. I work as an IT project manager, and I am also a volunteer of the Wrocław branch of PMI Poland chapter. Currently, I'm a vice director of marketing and communication for our branch, responsible for building and implementing of the PMI Wrocław marketing strategy. I'm also responsible for social media communication channels. I'm co-organizing events with business institutions, and I am also actively searching for our PMI events partners. I'm responsible for preparing and delivering our monthly newsletter. In 2018, I organized a conference, Psychology in Business and Project Management. And on top of that, I am also design thinking enthusiast, design thinking coach, and I'm really glad that I can share my knowledge today with you.
Thanks, Aneta. Could you please share with us some of the key concepts of the design thinking, when they started to spread, and what's the importance and the added value of the design thinking?
Sure. So maybe first let me start with the definition of design thinking. I think that it is more and more kind of buzzword, and maybe not all of you know exactly what it means. So basically, design thinking is a method of creating innovative products and services based on the deep understanding of the user's need. There are three main concepts of design thinking. First one is focus on the user. The second one is creating interdisciplinarity. And the third one, experimenting and testing. And let me tell you a little bit more about each of the concepts. So focus on the user. The user in design thinking is your North Star. Design thinking allows you to step into your user's shoes by applying various tools and techniques. Then the second concept was interdisciplinary team. By working in such team, you can see the problem from various perspectives. That is why it is very important concept in design thinking. And experimenting and testing. Basically here it is all about building prototypes and receiving feedback from users. The goal of prototyping is not developing the final product yet, but creating the experience for the user. When you apply those three concepts, you can be sure that products or services that you will develop will be first desired by the user, secondly technologically feasible, and finally economically justified. Design thinking led us to define the problem and then to solve it. We can say that design thinking is simply a systematic approach to the innovation process. The first step is to build interdisciplinary team, which includes specialists, for example, designers, marketing specialists, or technicians. And this team can look at the problem from different perspectives. What is also important is that there are 5 stages of design thinking process, and these are empathy, define, ideate, prototype, and the final one is testing. So once you create this interdisciplinary team, this team implements step by step these subsequent stages of the method using a set of tools and techniques to, as a result, develop a solution that can be implemented. The team's goal is to generate original solution and check its operation at the prototyping stage. What is important is that the path leading through the subsequent stages does not have to be linear. In other words, if, for example, you fail at the prototyping stage, you can always return to the stage of generating ideas or even defining the problem and starting the process from the beginning. Matteo, you asked me when this concept of design thinking started to spread. So actually, already some time ago, in the 1960s, already in 1959, the first author who wrote about design thinking was John Arnold. He wrote a book, Creative Engineering. And in 1965, Bruce Archer wrote about design thinking in the book Systematic Method for Designers. Then the start of 21st century brought really a significant increase in interest in design thinking, simply as the term became very popular in the business press. And now finally, what is the importance or added value of design thinking? Design of products and services nowadays is a major component of business competitiveness. Also, design thinking involves creative thinking in generating solutions for problems, and the designers must continually consider how what is designed will respond to human needs.
Thank you, Aneta. As you know, most of our listeners are project managers. And so how a project manager can improve his approach and methodology using design thinking? Which prerequisites are needed and to which processes design thinking applies best?
That is very interesting question, Matteo. I was thinking about that, and basically when it comes to prerequisites, they are simple. Open mind, do not be afraid to be creative. Creativity is like a muscle. It has to be trained. And last but not least, to be ready to fail. And by applying design thinking tools, you will be able to get to know the user requirements better. By applying them, you will also be able to gain empathy with your project stakeholders. And by applying design thinking tools, especially at the stage of empathy, you will be able to gain also the engagement of project stakeholders. Also, thanks to applying design thinking methods and tools, project manager can definitely improve how to better define the goal of the project, how to deeply understand what is needed to be delivered by the project. And by applying the prototyping and testing approach, you can also better monitor and control your project to verify if it goes as it was planned.
Thanks. Empathy is a crucial factor. How to build it and how to gain it within the team, within the customers?
Yes, indeed, Matteo. Empathy, the first stage of the design thinking process, is quite difficult to be gained, and there are different tools that we can use in order to help us to gain empathy with our users. So we can have a survey that is sent to our users about asking about our product or service. We can perform interviews with our users, asking some open questions about the usage of the product or service. Another tool that is used is also the observation of the user, how they actually react to our products or services. Maybe I can share with you and with our listeners some real life example how the empathy was gained by conducting the interviews with the users. So let me share with you the example of the company Shimano. It is a Japanese company that is producing some parts to bikes. And it was in 2004 when this company has noticed a radical drop of sales in the USA market. What was quite surprising to the management of the company was that the bikes that were produced by the company were filled with the most innovative technological solutions. However, the bikes were not sold as well as the company management predicted. And the company Shimano invited the group of design thinkers to help to have a look at this problem, to see what happened, and to have some solution. There was a team created of different specialists, sales specialists, marketing, designers, also people that were interested in psychology. And what they did, they actually used one of the tools to gain empathy with the people who simply rode bikes. They conducted, design thinkers conducted interviews with American people. And in the interviews, design thinkers were asking about questions like, how do you use your bike? Do you like using your bike? And so on. And what happened was that there was some trend in the answers from the bike users that riding a bike reminded people about childhood, about riding a bike as a carefree exercise. Basically, the bike was for them just a symbol of good fun, about contact with nature. And what happened was that many users had used bikes or some broken down bikes in the basement, and sometimes they couldn't afford to have this bike filled with the latest technology. So having this interviews research, design thinkers team conducted the analysis, and they produced a simple bike for American market with unbreakable tires, with chain that was not that easy to break, and with automatic gears. So in this example, we can see how the empathy was gained with the users. So what happened was that the team of design thinkers went to the field. They talked to actual user of the bikes. They analyzed the answers from these interviews, and they come with finally they achieved and developed a really interesting product for the users. And what I can say more is that this bike has won even the international award for the design of this product.
Good. We are approaching the end of our podcast. As last question, I would like to ask you any advice on how to improve teams or companies with design thinking.
Okay, sure. So in my opinion, by building the atmosphere in which everyone can share his or her idea without any judgment. In design thinking, every idea counts. The more ideas, the better. And when I conduct design thinking workshops, I always encourage participants to not be afraid to propose even the most crazy ideas, because then we can build on them and create something really unique. The other important topic is also creating the atmosphere in which it is okay to fail. I mentioned that design thinking focuses on building, prototyping, and testing them. So when you build a prototype, and if you will fail, it is better to fail fast, because you can learn from it and then improve and develop even a better product or service.
Excellent. I really want to thank Aneta for her contribution. Thanks and greetings to our listener. Talk to you in the next podcast.
Thank you.
Bene, siamo alla fine. Un grazie ai nostri ospiti di oggi e a risentirci al prossimo podcast, normalmente un'edizione al mese, ascoltabile tramite iTunes, SoundCloud o scaricabile come file dal sito PMI Northern Italy Chapter www.pmi-nic.org. Ricordate di mandarci il feedback di gradimento, istruzioni sempre sul sito del PMI-NIC. Arrivederci candidamente!